fellow witches and wizards. My name is Pheonixginny, and welcome to another speed build. Crazy, I know. It's been so long. This is the speed build I promised back in June of 2023. I finally have it. Like half a year later. It's now 2024. I have a lot to say, and I feel like I don't have a whole lot of time to say it. So I'll try to be concise. I'm going to talk about the build first, because I think that's probably what people are most interested in. That's probably why people clicked on the video in the first place. So this is my speed build for my Lilsimsie wheel build challenge. This is number 4. This is the 4th build I've done with this challenge. And Lilsimsie is another Sims YouTuber, a much more popular YouTuber than me. And she created a wheel build challenge, and her channel is linked in the description if you want to check her out, if you don't know who she is already. I also link one of her wheel build challenge videos and the official Google Doc rules that she has created so that you can follow along and do the challenge yourself. But basically, I followed those rules, except I tweak them a little bit for my own purposes. For this particular build, using her rules, determined that it was going to be on a 50 by 40 or 50 by 50 lot, that it was going to be in the world of StrangerVille, that it was going to be a starter home with a $20,000 budget. It was going to house 8 Sims, be of the Suburban Contemporary style, and that there would be no pack restrictions. So a couple things first. First of all, I want to say that this build is not very good. That's kind of the point of a wheel build challenge, is that it pushes you to do things, to build in a way you wouldn't typically build. And so sometimes you're going to do things that are a little uncomfortable. So I built this, and I love the architecture, but the furnishing is not very good, at least originally, because I only have a $20,000 budget for an 8 sim house on a 50 by 50 lot. So I didn't have a whole lot of money to furnish. So you'll see by the end, the pictures are really sad. They're really sad. It's very sparsely furnished. It looks like an EA build upon release, to be honest with you. But fear not, if you hang out to the very end, you're going to see a much better version of it, because I was so unhappy with it that I decided to forget the budget. Budget be damned. And I furnished it the way I wanted to. So on the gallery, and my gallery ID will appear on the screen for you, as well as the parameters of which this build is made, you can find the original rule following build, and you can also find the better build. Both of them are on my gallery right now, in fact. But I did do the best I could with this build, and I follow the rules, but I do make some adjustments for my build, because I like to be well, let me just say it this way. Her builds are strictly residential. She doesn't typically do community lots, as far as I know, though she does do some community lots. But her build challenge is strictly residential. I like to broaden my horizon, and I like to do a bunch of different builds. So I randomly determined what kind of build it was going to be, if it was going to be residential, or if it was going to be a rental, or if it was going to be a community lot of some kind. And I did randomly determine that it would be residential, so it's not super special. I also got more specific about what kind of build, what style of build it was going to be. She only lists 5 or 6, I think, in her official rules. But there's actually a lot more different styles you can do. If you click on the filter items section down in the bottom right-hand corner with the build on top of the build by catalog, it actually gives you a bunch of different styles you can do. And I actually randomly determined it from there, I believe. If not, then that is how I will be doing it moving forward, because that's what I do in my normal build. When I normally build things and I don't know what to do beforehand, I like to randomly determine it. So it's Suburban Contemporary. Also, I'm not a fan of the color choices that she has, the color scheme options. I like to be more specific and more challenging as well. So I also, using that filter and the catalog, determine what colors to use. I like to get really specific, and so I randomly determined that the main color, the primary color, well, not primary color, it's not the right term. The most frequently used color is dark brown. Any complementary colors I want to use can be anything I want, but it has to be primarily dark brown, and so that's what you'll find in this build. I also decided what the build should look like based on a Google image. I typed in Suburban Contemporary Home in Google, and I searched for a home, and I think it was one of the first ones I saw. I like to challenge myself in that way. Pick one of the first options, even if it looks kind of impossible, more or less. So you'll find this build on Google. I might even link it in the description if I can, the original picture for this build. Although I did make it much, much smaller because, like I said, I had a budget, and also big builds in The Sims don't really make sense. The scaling in The Sims isn't like real life at all, so you'll see throughout this video that I'm constantly shrinking stuff down because I realize it's way too big. No pack restrictions. Now, also in the rules, you're supposed to add a special room. And I totally forgot to do that for this build. It was supposed to be music room, and I completely forgot about it. So, we're gonna just pretend like that didn't happen. But there's no music room like there's supposed to be. But yeah, this build is kind of sad. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of, I'm going to use debug items to furnish, especially the outside, because it's all free, but it's all boring and unusable, so it's really sad. But like I said, I do change it by the end, and if you want the better build, which is also in the gallery, I completely understand. Okay, I think that's everything I want to say about the build. I'm going to talk about my life for a minute. I haven't been posting on YouTube lately. The last video I did was my Halloween video, because I did a video of myself playing Resident Evil 7, and I'm actually quite proud of that video. Even then, that particular video was way late. I did my final stream in May, and said, hey, I'm going to take a month off, and then it ended up being May, June, July, August, September, October, 5 months. And I didn't really have a good excuse for it other than I moved. I moved and the internet situation changed, and I had to make a lot of adjustments. When you move, your life changes. You don't just go back to doing things the way you did. You have to change the way you do things. So I had to adjust. But the thing is, I adjusted fairly well by August, I think. And so you would think, why didn't I start posting then? To be honest, I don't have a good reason. I don't have anything to say like, oh, my favorite uncle died and I just couldn't cope, or I got a new job, or I got married. That would have been a great one. No, none of those things. Nothing in my life changed other than I moved. I can't honestly say why I didn't post. And I feel like this happens every year, where I just get into posting YouTube and then I get out of it. I don't know. I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I love doing it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like it and sometimes I don't. And I'm constantly like, oh, I need to do YouTube. I need to do better. I want to do it. And then I don't know. And then I don't do it. Or I just think, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm not going to be good enough. I'm not going to be as good as everybody else, so why bother? No one's going to watch it. If I can't put in the effort to be as good as Lilsimsie, for instance, then why should I put the effort in at all? Because I've always kind of known this, but I'm coming to a peace in myself that I am never going to be the career YouTuber. I'm just not. In order to be a career YouTuber, you have to be driven, you have to be motivated, you have to be dedicated. You have to use all of your free time to doing it. I will say that I still want to do YouTube. I still want to make content, because I still enjoy it. But I do not have the time, the energy, or the drive to do it the way that you need to in order to make it a career. I still have to work. I still have a job, albeit a part-time job, but it's a very energy-intense job. It requires me to be very extroverted, and I'm a very introverted person, so it drains me more than it would a person who is extroverted. And so, if I had all the money in the world, I would stay home and just work on my novel and YouTube. That's all I would do, but I don't. I have to go out and I have to work, and I have other things that are more important to me than YouTube. Being a writer is the number one thing, well, it's the number two thing I want to be. Career-wise, that's the number one thing I want to be. And so that's going to be my main focus a lot of the time. And also, just like, I love doing YouTube, I love making videos, but I feel like there's so much more to life. There's so much more that I would rather be doing sometimes. I want to read books, and I want to run, 10Ks, and I want to, I don't know, watch TV for hours on end. I don't know. Other stuff. I want to play video games just for me. There's just more to life than just making content to me. It's not enough for me to just pour every ounce of myself into, and you honestly have to in order to make it anymore. So while I'm still going to do YouTube, and I'm really excited to do YouTube, I have a backlog of videos that I got to post. I have to edit them first, and I like to go in a certain order, but I have a backlog of videos to post, so it's not like I don't have content to post. I've actually invested some money in a decent editing software, and if you saw my last video, my Resident Evil Part 2 video, I'm really proud of the editing job that I did. Now, is it stellar? No, absolutely not. There's other YouTubers that are way better than me, way more practiced at this than me. It's not a stellar video, but for me and my base level, I put in a lot of effort. I actually cut things out, and I added zooms and text to the screen and sound effects and music, and I'm actually really proud of it. So, I want to do more of that, but I will say that takes a lot of time. And frankly, sometimes I only have an hour to 2 hours every other day to do YouTube stuff, and even then, sometimes it just doesn't happen because life gets busy, and like I said, other things are more important to me sometimes, and so sometimes it's just not going to happen. So there's no regularity to my videos, and there isn't going to be. I've come to peace. Oh, that sounds weird. I've made peace with the concept that I will not be a career YouTuber. This is just a hobby, and it's very possible that no one will ever see this, and that's okay. I am my number one audience, in my opinion. This is primarily for me, because I like to make things, and I like to share things. I want to share my life. That is the number one reason I'm doing YouTube right now, is because I want to share the games I play. Are they the same games that millions of other YouTubers have also played on YouTube and that are years old that nobody's playing anymore? Yeah, they are. I don't care. I just want to share what I like to do. And even if I'm just sharing it with myself, that's good enough. I also like to imagine that maybe one day I will maybe one day my writing will be really famous and I'll make it big. And then because I'm famous, people will check out my YouTube channel and I'll make it big that way on YouTube. I don't know. So if anybody's watching this because they read my books, I'm so glad that you're here. And it's such an honor. And it makes me so happy that you're here. I've also considered the fact that maybe I won't be discovered until I'm dead, which is kind of a morbid thought, but hear me out. A lot of the greatest writers aren't great in their lifetime. And the first writer I always think of is Charles Dickens. He was great when he was alive, but not as great as he is now. He has no idea how far his writing has, how much of a household name he is, I guess, is a good way to put it. But anyway, it's very possible that my writing won't be discovered and won't be popular until after I'm gone. And maybe then my videos will be found, and that's really sad and morbid, but maybe. And if that's the case, hello from beyond the grave. And I'm also glad that you're here. Just to be heard is a wonderful thing. But other than that, like, no serious life changes. I wish there was, honestly. I wish I could tell you that, oh man, I made it big and I don't need YouTube anymore or something. Or well, I'd really like to be like, oh yeah, see, actually I got married and yeah, so that's why I've stopped doing YouTube or whatever. That would have been nice, but no. That's not the case. Yeah, no. My life is not, it's really unchanged except for the fact that I moved. I am happy to say that I have better internet now. I don't think I'll go back to streaming, but maybe I will. I don't know. But for now, I mean, we have better internet than we did when I first got here because, well, we bought Elon Musk internet, which is really good internet. Really expensive though. But anyway, happy. Am I happy? Yes. Ish. Still trying to figure out what I want to do, how to manage my free time well. But I do want to get back to YouTube, and I think we're coming up to the end of the video now with the screenshots. So we'll look at the sad pictures of my poor build. Right now I'm putting out some debug stuff that's not usable and not very fun at all, and trying to fix the colors there of certain things. But look out for some more YouTube stuff coming up on my backlog of more Hogwarts Legacy and A Plague Tale and whatnot. So here we've got my sad original build, and the weather, I didn't plan this, but the weather in the game really worked out great. It's really rainy and nasty. But yeah, it's really sad. It's we've been robbed. That's what it looks like. Oh my gosh, it's so empty because I couldn't afford to put any furniture in it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I said, it looks like an EA build. They make these huge houses and then they don't put any furniture in it. The bathrooms are particularly sad. Oh, yeah. No, like I said, I was so unhappy with it that I decided that I wasn't gonna that I wasn't going to put up with that. I felt like my reputation as a builder was at stake, so I decided to just forget the budget and add furniture that I wanted. And I have screenshots of that as well coming up in a few seconds. Overhead shot here of the top floor, I think. Yep, and the bottom floor. And I think we have one more outside shot. And then here is the better build. Boop. Isn't that so much better? And I do have custom content. Those cars right there, custom content. If you want to see this build in the gallery, make sure you check the box for custom content, or else you will not see it. But there isn't so much custom content in there that you can't enjoy the build. I use content indiscriminately. I enjoy custom content as much as the stuff in the actual game. Oh, I think those blinds are custom content as well. But anyway, that is the build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. Leave a like on the video as well, and become a subscriber if you're not subscribed already. Turn on notifications so you can be notified the next time I go live. Don't do that. I upload next time I upload. In the description, I have my socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X. And I also have a Patreon if you'd like to support me, or if you'd like to read my short stories. Like I said, I am a writer, and so I have short stories on there as well. So check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have